Oh, we're live. Okay. Oh, we're live, baby. Well, you're not live. I am. Trying to make myself pretty for the camera. Yeah. Ooh, that's a look. Yeah. I got the werewolf thing going on lately. I'm not shaving until all illness has been wiped from the world. What's going on, George, Ethan, Joe Balls? What's going on, Wolverine, Wildcat Wizzy? Whoa, yeah, Wildcat, yeah. Wyatt, Rude Mopar Dude, Joe or Gus. Say what? Nina, Chris, so blah, 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 blah. Hello, everybody. What's going on? Ah, another day in paradise. Living the fucking dream. Oh, let's see. Thoughts on Suzuki Samurais quick? Okay. A little small, but yeah, I like them. Allentown, representing Allentown. Oh. Greg, what's going on? Katie, what's happening, sweetheart? Hunter Thompson, is that really Hunter? No, he's dead. The Illuminati killed him. Check my email. Cass, what did you send me in the email? Do you have any idea what my email looks like? It's like my email is off the chain. Uncle Kathy cries every time I tell her to look at the email. New Zealand. You got your Tang. Excellent. Colleen, where'd you get your Tang from? Good coffee. Put down the cancer sticks. No, I can't do that. I smoke to save lives. Everybody around me. 426 Rich, what's going on? Don't say hi to Kathy. She doesn't want to be here with you guys. She's like, no, I'm not. I don't want to be with the public. What size motor behind me? That's a 452 I'm building for the Roadrunner over here. Gray dude, what's going on? From the mothership, right? Have I been doing anything today? Yeah, I buttoned up the whole bottom part of Bottle Rocket today. And got the heads back on it and all. Tomorrow morning, I just got to drop the intake manifold on it, and she's a runner again. Anyone seen this Film Your Hospital thing? No, I have not. What's that all about? What's Film Your Hospital? What's going on, Kurt? Check email, 66 Charger. Uncle Kathy? Yeah? Are you too disgusted with everything to check email? Right now? Yeah. What? Something about a 66 Charger. Right. From Cass for Cassie. What? I know. You're sick of everything and everybody. Why was the Charger leaking gas? Because it was coming out of the tank, out of the top of the tank. David, you've been working like hell. Work is good, man. Work is what keeps you alive. We as a species are built to work. Without work, we have no purpose. People filming USA hospitals that are busy with Corona, but the hospitals are quiet. That's what that is? Yeah, I've seen some stuff like that. What's my favorite car of all time? Yours, man. Your car is my favorite of all time. Is Uncle Kathy sick of UTS? She's sick of everything. She's disgusted. She doesn't want to have anything to do with any of this anymore. She's retired. Uncle Kathy is retired.
Why are you lying?
Huh?
Why are you lying?
For the dramatic effect.
Is the email.
Okay. Let me see the email. All right, Cass, I'm looking at your email, brother, man. You got a line on a 66 Charger. One of those covers another motor and trans. Oh, no, I'm not interested. Bro, thank you, right? But holy shit. I have I have way too many cars and trucks, and now I throw a motorcycle into the mix. Have I ever driven a T-bucket? A blown nitro one, yes. I've also driven, like regular street T-buckets too. What did the oil pump on bottom? Oil pump. The drive didn't fail. It looks like the bypass stuck. I put a fresh pump in there. What music do I listen to? Punk, straight up rock. The usual stuff. Do I think I'll break 500 viewers again tonight? I don't know, man. We got 167, but only 51 likes. Fuck. What do I have to do to get likes from you guys? Did Freiberg ask you to be on a Motor Trend show? No, and he's not going to. We need you to quit smoking. We want you to be in this world. We pray. Hey, bro, thank you for praying for me. I appreciate that, or good thoughts or whatever it is that anybody sends over, but listen, I smoke. I'm not going to quit. I need it. It's part of, for those of you who aren't acquainted, right? I smoke. I have vicious ADD bordering on autism. And the combination of caffeine and nicotine has the same effect on the brain as like Ritalin does, but without like the bad side effects. So it's not just an excuse. I really do need this shit to keep my head focused. You're listening to my TN neighbor Justin Johnson blues guitar live stream now. I'm really not into blues, man. I don't like blues. And no, I'm definitely not a Rush fan. Be glad I got out of the Big Apple. I'm very, I mean, I'm thrilled that I got out of there. But why do you say that, Edge? Don't replace the cracked windshield. You think it's sexy. If the cost of gas is no issue, are overdrive transmissions worth it, considering they are virtually always weaker or have shitty gear ratios and affordable transmissions? It depends on your final drive and how you plan on using the car. If you do a lot of highway, a lot of cross country, because I mean the speed limit's 70, but traffic moves at 80, 85. So without the overdrive, man, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're sitting in a very buzzy kind of ride. So I don't know. That's up to you. It really depends on how you use the car. Fubar, what's going on, man? Thank you for the merch link. Cigarette smokers have the highest completion of Appalachian Trail through hikers for some odd reason. Should you change your timing belt soon? Day after tomorrow. Or 27 more miles. T5 or T56 in my Fox body. The T5 is such a, it's such a good transmission. Let's see. Hey, from North Carolina, what's going on? Frozen's Gaming. What's going on, Josh? Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Here, look at the motor. There we go. You miss me? Black Flag. Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely at times. Do I have a properly sized blow-off valves? I do not. I see that, Fred. ACC, what's going on, brother man? John Wilburn. Did I ever smoke weed? When I was younger, I smoked a bunch of it. Would a 1960 Imperial with a 413 be a long rim? Not necessarily. I mean, the long rim was an option, but most likely it's a 4 barrel. Okay. There you go. How are gas prices? Like $1.69 right now. Did they ever make a full 48 dog? Yes, they built a limited run of them in 1969. Very restrictive exhaust manifold on it though. Is a 273 HP a good motor? I have one of my 67 GT, and I love that motor. I love it. I love my fucking little 273. Okay. Picking up a 88 F250 with a 351 to part out and snag the motor. Nice. Do you prefer to own or rent your what? Storage? I prefer to rent. I prefer to rent. I leave all the paperwork and agita and upkeep and everything to the landlord. Let's see. Did you fresh primer the charge? No, it was too windy out. I would have done it. I would have done it today. I picked up like 6 cans of the stuff. So Rust-Oleum sandable primer, man, it works really good. But it was like a little too windy today, so maybe I'll get it done tomorrow. Let's type in caps for Unk. That could be a thing, right? But then I wouldn't know when anybody was yelling at me. If everybody typed in caps, then I wouldn't know when somebody was like trying to, really adamant about something. What's the best carb for a beginner to learn to tweak on? Definitely Edelbrock. Get yourself an Edelbrock and start playing with that. Very, very easy carburetor to master. LSX Hunter, do you have any opinion on large versus small valve, 196 versus 211 intake? It all depends how close it comes to the bore. I'm not really a fan of oversized valves. I mean, honestly, the factory sized these things pretty much right, as far as velocity goes, as far as, I mean, for the most part, there are some cases where you've got undersized valves, but for the most part, the factory worked with the style of combustion chamber, proximity to the cylinder wall for the intake valve. Lots of different factors go in there. So there might be some, I mean, sometimes you will pick up gains going to a larger valve, but for the most part, it really depends on the bore diameter of the engine and how close that valve comes to being shrouded by the bore. Better to have a smaller valve without shrouding than a larger valve with. Because you got to keep in mind now, right? Shrouding hurts flow, but the size also hurts velocity. So it's like you know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on the 6-pack or barrel? They're good. Mopar 51 stroke. What's the best street strip cam? Bro, what is your car weigh? What gear is it? What transmission is in the thing? Is it a bracket car? Is it a street race car? I mean, too many questions. Ask a cam grinder. Give them all your specifications. No problem, Vince. I hope you enjoy that TP. Wipe till you're white, or wipe till it's white. You're probably already white, but wipe till it's white. Yes. Please explain the difference between a 440 and a 440 HP. HP, depending on the year, has higher compression. Double valve springs, windage tray. What else? Mm, oh, it depends on the year, but that's pretty much it. Antonio Mancini, when am I going to hear my name on your Uncle Tony's What's Up? Well, there you go. Anthony Mancini. What's going on? What's up, bro, man? Right, yeah, LSX Hunter. Appreciate it. We have a set of 186 heads flowing 220 CFM and a set of 211 at 225 CFM. So for 5 CFM, look at the fucking difference in size for the 5 CFM. And the 196 feels quicker on the butt dyno because it is. You have greater velocity through that fucking port. You know, for some people just absolutely swear, oh, you gotta put larger valves in this fucking thing. It doesn't always work. That's the thing, man. There are very few one-size-fits-all like modifications in the world of fucking hot rodding. Very few of them. Do you think the Max Wedge guy will start the rebuild? I hope he does. Whether he does or not, I don't know, but I hope he does. And I hope he calls me to help him because I would definitely love to help him. You put 174 exhaust valves in your 516 heads because 160s are tiny. Tell that to the fucking LS guys. Tell them that their 6 valves, exhaust valves are fucking tiny. How's Lamb Chop doing? Got an update from Lamb Chop today. Unfortunately, he's not doing well. Well, okay. I don't mean to make that sound fatal, but his white blood cell count is like off, and they had to like stop the chemo for a little bit. And he's definitely you know, losing his beard and everything. So yeah, anything you guys could do to raise Lamb Chop spirits, you know, by all means, like fucking do it. You know, anything you can think of. Lamb Chop is a really good guy. Hey, what's going on, Zero? Yeah, no, you can't say hi to Kathy tonight because Kathy has decided she wants to have nothing to do with YouTube, nothing to do with doing this live stream. She's completely had it with all of this stuff. That's why she even banished me to the garage. Look, I can't even go in the house. My old videos were funny. Why not so funny now? I don't know, man. I guess I just lost it, right? Burnouts for Lamb Chop. She does need a break, Vince. She works really hard. It was the trunk guy. No, she's. Hey, I used to use her for ballast in street race cars when she was a teenager. Whole mood of country is off. Well, you know, let's try to change that. Kathy gonna run away from home. She'll be back. She'll be back. What's up, boss? Tell her I got my stuff last night at work. Last shirt. Okay, excellent, excellent, Zero. Cat, Zero got his stuff. Zero said to tell you he got his stuff. All right, you can sleep now, right? You can sleep again now, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. It does help with cabin fever, right? That's why we do it. We bring our little community here every night now. Ever own a letter car from the good era? A letter car, no. I've had a couple of 300s from that era, but never a letter car. You're Sicilian. Watch me eat the artichoke brought back. Yeah, right. I should buy her a nice outfit and cook her a steak dinner. We don't want to push things, right? Have a Saab 900? No, I've never had a Saab. The pressure, the pressure. Uncle Kathy can't handle the pressure. She's folding under the pressure. Oh, thank you, ACC. It was a good live stream, the last one. Bacon wrap steak. I went and panic bought 4 tenderloin, beef tenderloins. So there's going to be a lot of bacon wraps, like fucking filet mignons coming. I got them for such a good deal too. It was ridiculous. Like I could not buy them. They were like almost free. I'm trying to keep you sane, Jeremy. It's Kathy with a K, Joe. Make food for Target. What's a better charger, 75 through 77 or these new 4-door chargers? I mean, I would prefer the earlier one, but just because it's a traditional B body for the most part. But I mean, depends whether you like the old Mopars or the new Mopars. Thank you, Mopar. Then give you a tour of the wall signs. I don't think I really have anything special. What do we got here? We got. See, I can't really do this. That's hard to do. So let's see. There's that one back there. That one back there. That's a promotional poster for Christmas Comet. I was actually going to run a Nostalgia Top fuel car with the guy who owned Christmas Comet, Jim Barolero, but he died about 2 years ago, so that put an end to that. That's just a generic blown Hemi, borrowing tools for the week. Now, of course, that was Super B Black that somebody gave me. Alliance drag strip poster somebody gave me. General Mattis, let's all stand for General Mattis. Stand up, motherfuckers. Okay. And that's pretty much it. We got a gas Ronda Mustang, funny car there, Wild Willie Borscht, the Burkholder brothers. So this is the general shop, the home garage, and you are sitting on a Hemi. There you go. All right. Do I have a walker? Yeah, but I'll need one soon enough. Hey, Tony, what's the newest year vehicle you would buy? Nothing past 1990, I don't think. Nick's Garage is really about getting together with you for a dyno. Yeah, I'm going to bring him a slant. What are the best breathing heads for a 400 RB street hinge with any performance, RPM, and headers? Best. Offhand, I really couldn't give you an answer. There's so many different heads on the market, and off the top of my head, I can't think of which ones would flow best. Where do we live? Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Y'all. Because if you couldn't tell by my fucking southern demeanor and accent. What size Hemi are you on? You're on a TFX 92. Uh, 318 versus 360. I know. The 360 is an excellent motor, but I personally prefer the 318 and the 340. The 318 and the 340 really are the same engine. The only difference is the bore size. Why did I turn the pistons around in my 440? It's an old school trick to offset the wrist pin. It frees up torque. Rooster, Tony, I said a couple of negative things on a couple of your vids. I'd like to apologize. I'm starting to dig your style. Rooster, what did you say, man? What did you say on the vids? I have been getting behind on reading a lot of the comments. TFX 92. What does that mean? It's a derivative of the 426. I have two of them. I have an iron 426. You know, it's a 30 over block, and I have this TFX 92, which is it's got a couple of windows and it needs a little bit of work. The TFX 92 has a lot of revisions to be run on nitro. Runs better on nitro. Would loose torque converter bolts make a knock sound in gear? Slide 6, yes. But you know, every time I ever told myself, hey, that's just loose converter bolts, it turned out the shit was getting ready to throw a rod. So, what do I think of the Donovan blocks? For the early Hemi, they were great. I mean, you said something about bottle rocket being cobbled. No, brother, man, it is cobbled. It absolutely is cobbled. Everything I own is fucking cobbled, but it runs good. Yeah, Rooster, don't stress it, brother, man. It's all good by me. Would I run nitro through a mechanical 8-stack setup? Yes, that's the plan. The motor you're sitting on right now and that iron motor there are both going to get set up to run with an 8-stack Hillborn setup in that 67 Belvedere that's in the backyard. We're going to build a grudge car out of that. Anthony Mancini, baby. Yeah. Anthony Mancini says to please tell Kathy I said hi. Are you having a thing with Anthony Mancini? Are you sure? You having a thing with Kathy? I don't want to talk about it right now. You working on a nostalgia setup yourself? A nostalgia setup for what? Yeah, thank you, Rooster. I broke it all down. I changed the pump. I threw some fresh bearings in it. They were a little fuzzy after that because the bypass stuck in the oil pump. And it's probably because I wasn't really crazy fucking thorough when I cleaned it out after it ate the camshaft. So I'm sure some of that stuff got in there and just hung the bypass. You know, my own fault, my own laziness. But yeah, today I because I redid the front suspension on the car, fixed the steering box, did a lot of shit. I made that window straight for the oil pan. So today I put the whole bottom of the car together again, aligned everything up, dropped it on the ground. So tomorrow morning, all I got to do is I put the heads back on it. So tomorrow morning, all I have to do is just put the intake on it, and it should be running again, you know, tomorrow. Fat middle-aged white guy, can't wait for you to build the Belvedere. Bro, honestly, right? I just have to get to the right headspace. You know what I'm saying? Sam Attenborough, you went to Walmart and bought all the Tang. Yes, good man. Hoarding the Tang. Yeah, as far as the nitro motor and the Belvedere, I need to get into the right headspace to do that. And I'm nowhere near there right now, because this YouTube thing, you know, and like the daily driver kind of street cars, and I love this stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's very far away from the nitro head. So I got to wait until, you know, things just evolve and I'm there again. My head is ready to fucking take that shit on again, and then I'll be an unstoppable force. Brian McBang Shift, Throne Wrench Garage. If you guys have not gone and subbed to Throne Wrench Garage, please go do so right now. Brian is one of the true fucking good guys in the industry of everything. He does bangshift.com. He's like him and Brian Loans, who's like fucking Brian Loans is like our Elvis today, right? Brian Loans is a fucking great guy, and he does a podcast. But Brian McBang Shift and Brian Loans, those guys are the fucking heart and soul of bangshift.com. So, you know, definitely fucking go there and sub to him. He's a good fucking guy. Bacon wrapped bacon. Oh, brother, man. I'm going to show you guys how to make a bacon mat. I used to make bacon mats, right? That's why you take. When I had the coffee house, so that's why you take bacon and you weave it together in a fucking mat, right? And then you can put anything you want. You can put like cheese in there and bacon mats, man. But just I don't have to show you to do it. Just Google bacon mat, right? You'll be all fucked up. You'll be running. You'll be running to every fucking store. You'll be buying bacon by the skid to make these things. Uh, what's the meanest car I've built? Double A fuel altered. What happened? Ask Uncle Tony. Uncle Crystal. Uncle Crystal is in self-quarantine. Somebody who she worked with had come down with this fucking virus. So she's in self-quarantine. The kids are sick. My kid, who she's married to, is sick. So everybody's fucking sick. So he's been laying low. She's been laying low. Did I say he? Jim R. representing Calgary. Thank you. But please, right? Don't be a fan. I don't want fans. Be a friend. Be my friend. Be a viewer, right? Be a friend, but never be a fan. I don't like fans. You were in the fucking paper mache class, huh? She'll be fine. Yes, everybody's going to be fine. BH635, what do you think? But I do not like to get political on this channel. Dave Orr, don't be my fan. Be a viewer, be my friend, but don't be a fan. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that dynamic. Did you ever write for High Performance Cars magazine with Cliff Gromer back in the day? Yes, many issues. What happened to the guy with the black Ford van? He decided that he could do better with his own channel, so that's what he does. Oh, thank you, Michael. She's not my daughter. She's my daughter-in-law. But she might as well be my daughter. I told my kid, I says, if anything happens between them, he goes, she stays. Do I ever sell any of my fleet? No, I do not. Once I adopt a car, it's like adopting a kid or a dog to me. It's like, that's it. It's a life commitment. Why does nobody run mechanical fuel injection on the street? Part throttle drivability is terrible. Very, very, very hard to tune them to be part throttle drivability. Ram Charger. What's going on with the Ram Charger? It's just sitting for right now. I've got to get these other cars and everything squared away first, and then we'll get to that. Did I ever write for CarCraft? No, CarCraft's like one of the only magazines I never wrote for. I never wrote for CarCraft. I never wrote for Popular Hot Rodding. I think I did stories in just about every other fucking magazine. Do I still sell parts of my parts cars? I do not. I don't have any parts cars currently. The motor behind me is a 452 that I'm building for the 68 Roadrunner that's over here. It's currently got a 400 in it. Is my son into cars? No, not even a little bit. Would a crank scraper be beneficial with a windage tray, or is the windage tray better to stand alone? It's generally redundant. If you have a properly like executed windage tray, the crank scraper is kind of redundant. And honestly, I wouldn't really recommend a crank scraper on a street car, right? On a driver car. Not when I say street car, I mean something that that sees like regular traffic, because the camshaft, right? The camshaft gets a lot of oil thrown off in that assembly. You want a little bit of windage in a car that you're driving every day, because it keeps the bottom of the cylinders wet. It keeps the camshaft wet, beyond what drips down from the sides. So you want to keep a little bit of windage in a street car. So I would say crank scrapers are out for something that you drive around every day, where a windage tray leaves just enough of that windage to keep everything nice and happy and wet under there. They're suggesting weaving a mat out of a whole package of bacon, at least 12 slices, and baking it. Yeah, don't bake it, fry it. I've tried that. Baking it doesn't come right. I ever make my own carb gaskets. I mean, I have, like, in a pinch, in a pinch. Damn yo, got a wiring harness for my 50th birthday for my 65 Barracuda. Should I try installing it or go get a pro? Is it the stock harness, like a replacement, like, like a dash harness? Yeah, you can absolutely, you can change that yourself. If it's one of them aftermarket harnesses, I don't fuck with those things at all, at all. So, I can't tell you what to do with that. Michael, enough with the fucking bacon. You don't like bacon? Fuck. Yeah, universal harness. Yeah, man, I don't mess with those. Yeah, I don't mess with those. 3-speed versus overdrive. You mean in a Mopar? They're the same. I mean, essentially the same. Can I give a shout out to Ortonville, Michigan? Absolutely, Ortonville, Michigan, home of the Ortonvillians, some of the finest people on earth. Average height, average weight, average intelligence. I mean, you're talking about America, right? Go, guys. I'm thinking about reversing the pistons on my project. I was wondering, why didn't they reverse the pistons from the factory? Well, they put the offset in the piston to reduce piston slap or the noise, right? Because when an engine is cold, before the pistons warm up, they'll tend to slap around a little bit in the bore, and it'll go, you get that little bit of a rattle. Some engines do it pretty, intensely, and other engines you don't even notice it at all. But they offset the pin to reduce the rattle. So what you're doing is you're reversing that offset. Peaceful Seas, thank you so much. Baby, Cat, Peaceful Seas sent you $25 for a day at the spa. Yes. No, he says right here, towards a day at the spa for UK. Got a scoot. Be safe, all. Thank you, man. What? Uncle Kathy says thank you. Do you know where to get a lower bearing for a 67 Dodge Dart steering column? Leave it out. You don't need it. Later cars didn't have it at all. Ever have a diesel hot rod? No. What's the most embarrassing thing you've used silicone on? Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've used it as Band-Aid fix in countless, embarrassing applications. You know, Uncle Kathy cooked me some chicken before. 4Trax, thank you. If you had to choose, would you run a stock dual headlight front end or the Laguna S3 front end on an El Camino? The Laguna S3 was a fucking bitchin' looking front end. Those cars were beautiful. Yeah, I would probably, I mean, I'm not much for slapping around body panels, but yeah, I would throw that Laguna front end on if you've got it. Do I miss the 1970s? Brother man, look around my fucking house. Look around my life. Watch my videos. I now love the 70s. The 70s happen every day all the way around me. This is the only thing that's like of the modern era. Have you figured out a way to store ethanol spiked gas? Yeah, I mean, seriously, just take a gas can, fill it to the absolute brim so there's no airspace in there, and then seal it up. Oh God. You were born in 1970. Host a car show. I mean, if somebody locally to me wants to organize a car show, yeah, I mean, we're definitely down with that. We absolutely want to do something local. Stainless intake bolts don't stay torqued. Yeah, that's the truth, because stainless has different expansion qualities, different spring qualities. And that's it's a funny thing, right? If you take a guy who works on, now I'm talking about classic era cars. I'm not talking about anything built past, let's say, 1975, right? But if you have a Chevy or a Mopar guy that works on classic era cars and you put him to work on a Ford, he will break bolts. He'll break the starter bolts. He'll break intake manifold bolts, because Chrysler and General Motors spec the steel for their bolts the same way, where Ford spec the steel for their bolts, they're much harder. And that's why if you ever notice the threads on a Ford, if you're working on a classic or a Ford, right? So let's say you're gonna screw the transmission in and out, or the starter in and out, or anything like that. You notice how easily everything turns. That's because of the hardness in the steel that's in there. But if you put a Chrysler guy on a Ford, right away, bang, snap, every time you snapping bolts. Hey, what am I rolling? A cigarette. What's better in your opinion, the 327 265 or the 346 pack? I mean, listen, that 327. I can't think of the letter designation for it right now, but that 327 was a bitch of a motor. But then again, so is the 346 pack. But out of the box. Okay, so completely untouched, right? Untuned, untouched. Yeah, the fucking 327 will run away and hide from the fucking 346 pack. Tune the 346 pack. Get lighter springs in the secondaries, and curve the distributor, and the 346 pack the 346 pack dead stock with just basic tuning is a 340, 350 horsepower motor conservatively. Should I put a 454 in your truck or build a 383? It depends. Like, what do you have laying around? Do you have a 454 kicking around? If you do, I would just throw it in and save the hassle. If you're starting with a small block, then you might as well just do the 383. Any Chevy Silverado advice? You mean just random advice? Don't have any. .327 is my all-time favorite engine. I have three. Bro, I have a bug for small journal Chevys, for fucking 283s and 327s. I love those motors. They're like little jewels. You had to replace head gaskets on a 87-302 in cold weather, plus 10, and snap two head bolts, brittled up in the cold. Yeah, they're harder. I'm telling you. Ford spec all of their hardware harder. The heat treat is different. Actually, the metallurgy is different than Chrysler or General Motors did. Do I know of any Oldsmobile guys besides the Mondellos? I used to know a guy up in New York who was an Olds guy. Give me a minute. They had a T-shirt business, but off the top of my head, I can't remember what the name was. If it comes back to me, I'll tell you. Outside of Mopar, what other makes do you like from the '60s? All of them. I like all of them. I think I'm partial to AMC's and then Buicks, right? I mean, if I had to, you know what I mean? Like if there's a line of cars, right? What am I going to walk up and look at? I'll probably walk up and look at the AMC's first, look at the Buicks, then the Chevys, then the Pontiacs, and so on and so forth. Is the trim on the back of a '68 Roadrunner an option? Okay, the '68, the first run of Roadrunners didn't have any option. Then they had a Decor package. So the Decor package consisted of chrome on the post, because they didn't introduce a hardtop until much later in the year. But it had chrome on the post and the rear trim panel between the taillights. And then later on in the year, they added the hardtop. Matthew Fizel. Hey, Tony, I asked about your thoughts on a 408 Magnum Stroker the other night in my 63 Dark Acid build. What trains would you recommend, a 727 or a 46? Sorry, a 904. Use a 904. There's no, you have no, just build a good 904. You have no reason, the 727 eats up too much power. Lunar. Oh, brother, man, yeah, no, anytime. You don't have to fucking yellow duster. I'll have to go back and look at it again. Oh, but Lunar, in your video, real quick, you were showing engines, and then you showed an engine under a piece of plywood, right, or a hood or something. It was an engine that was underneath that. That's an HP motor. That's a Chrysler. That's a HP Chrysler motor. News on the Ram Charger. It's just sitting right now. Was my father into cars as well? Not even the slightest bit. My father never even learned how to drive stick. Thoughts on problem of clutches sticking down when pressed in on a 318 and a 3-speed. It's a diaphragm clutch and the fingers are collapsed. Thoughts on lifting an engine from the intake carb flange. Do it all the time. UT, can a Slane 6 904 be built the same as a V8 904? Yes. What's going on, Rick S? I thought all the dads worked on cars. No, they don't. Lots of people said you need to bore a 318 to even 4 inches and then deck the block for big valves. Do you subscribe to that method of getting power, or do you have any more do-it-yourself? Well, everybody talks about, okay, so the 318 has a 3.91 inch bore, but then so does the 5.3 LS. Nobody ever looks at an LS and says, oh, you have to bore that motherfucker out to 4 inches. No, it's got the same bore as fucking 5.3 LS. The 3.91 inch bore is fine. How much is the HP engine worth roughly? I don't know what it is, bro. I just saw the exhaust manifold pass real quick. My father would have been born in the 1930s and couldn't drive. Yeah, he was born in the 40s, right? I think he was born in like early 40s, like 1940, or I don't know. He's like 81. He's in his 80s now. But yeah, he just never learned how to drive stuff. Like he's an ultimate not a car guy. I'm the only car guy in my entire bloodline. Now, oddly enough, I had an uncle who died right before I was born. His name was Dominic. He worked on a railroad, and he blew himself up with a carburetor. He was cleaning a carburetor in the house and in in the kitchen, and the carb cleaner, that he was using fucking like exploded, and the guy fucking burnt up, and he died. So a year or two after that, I was born, and I've been a gearhead since fucking birth, and I had a thing for trains. Like I'm probably a reincarnation of my fucking Uncle Dominic. Can you do an 833 linkage and adjustment? Video on 833 linkage and adjustment. Bro, it's the same as any, I'm assuming you got a Hurst, but even the inland shifters, it's the same as any of them. Take an Allen key, you line up the three, at the bottom of the shifter, line up the 3 rods, right? So that there's like a square shape or a rectangular shaped notch, right? And line them all up to put a key through, right? Like an Allen key. You can use a lot of different things, but an Allen key is the, and then that's it. They're all lined up. Now just put it together. You want to be a train engineer, and your parents told me it was stupid. Yeah, well, my parents told me, being a mechanic was fucking stupid. And look where I am now. What's my favorite locomotive? Um, yeah, it's I like two. Okay, it's generic styles, right? Although I do everything for the fucking the cab forwards, but I like the American style. The 440s, Civil War era. There's something very very appealing of those things, and the much later engines. So the Challenger and the Big Boy are just. I mean, it's cliche. Everybody savors the Big Boy, right? Mine too. If you ever stood in the presence of one of those fucking things, they're just like it's just like it's the gearhead god, Kurt, thank you. Where was I brutally honest, Kurt? What about up and down idle on an '87 Silverado fix? It's hunting on you, bro. Just Google that. Tony, why wasn't the 326 Pontiac ever a competitor against the Chevy 327? The bottom ends of those Pontiacs were kind of funny. Very, very big fucking mains. Uh, why wasn't it in a competitor? I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly. Could you do another video about when you used to drag race? How about we do videos in the future when I go drag racing again? That seems to me like a better thing to do. The Allegheny Superpower locomotive, the 2666. That's so badass, man, with the fucking driving wheels under the tender. I mean, like, how could you not fucking love that, right? The Hudsons were beautiful, yes. Okay, I got a 68 Barracuda 440. When I tried to start it, the ceramic fuse thing started smoking bad. I'm 18. What's the problem? Don't worry about it. That's called a ballast resistor, and that's actually doing its job. I know when you take a brand new one, right, out of the box, or for some reason you get like oil or dirt on it handling it, when it starts getting hot, which is what it's supposed to do, right? It'll smoke. Yeah, don't stress that. Just it's fine. Um, let's see. I have a 63 Newport with 361. What's the best bang for your buck, big block for cruising around and still be able to hold its own? I like more torque than RPM. Just drop a 440 in it. I mean, will I ever build a racing truck? Probably not. UTG, can you do a video to fix steering slop or tighten the steering slop if that's possible? I try not to do because each steering box is adjusted differently. So I try not to do videos like that because then it becomes too specific to one particular box. Does that make any sense? I try to keep the tech. I use Mopars to illustrate, but I use them to illustrate general principles that can be applied across the board to any car that you're working with. So I generally try to stay away from doing those specific how-to videos. I mean, if that was the case, if it was a matter of doing like, how-to videos, I could do 3 videos a day. I could be a Scotty Kilmer doing how-tos, but it would all be Mopar stuff. Tony, have you ever driven a steam locomotive? No, I have not. Do I know that the coal on the East Coast burnt better? Yeah. Yeah, I forget what they call the coal, the East Coast coal. So it's right on the tip of my tongue. Bismuth? Fuck. Uncle Tony, what's your thoughts on drum brakes versus disc brakes? Are discs really an upgrade? And if so, are they worth it just for a normal daily driver? No. Most of my cars have drum brakes and they stop out. If you get your drum brakes set and adjusted correctly, they're Andrew, Andesite. Is that it? Okay. No, if you've got your drum brakes adjusted correctly, and not one to where only a small section of grabbing the drum, no problem at all. No problem at all. Pump and greaser. Day's going pretty good, brother man. Anthracite, yes. You just got done building a Beverly Hillbillies truck with a 440. Very cool. Very, very cool. Discs are better at heat dispersion and clamping force. Correct about heat dispersion, wrong about clamping force. When drums get wet, then disc brakes are far better. I mean, they dry off, yeah. Would I ever make train videos? I absolutely would, but I would have to know that it wouldn't. I would have to be confident enough that my audience would be accepting of it. Does that make any sense? Let me tell you about drum brakes, right? Aside from the fact that fucking big trucks still use drum brakes, right? You look at like the early funny cars, so altered wheelbase cars, 65, 66, I'm talking maybe 67, right? They were using drum. The only brakings they had on those cars, they had straight front axles with spindle mount wheels, no brakes in the front, and they had drum brakes in the back. Just two fucking drum brakes on the back axle, and it was slowing these cars down from 170, 180 fucking miles an hour. Drum brakes that can be set to zero drag and generally lighter. Exactly. Like for instance, Bottle Rocket. As soon as I can find a set of 10-inch drum brakes with spindles kicking around, because all I have is A-body stuff. But if I can find a set of 10-inch big ball pattern drum brakes, the discs are coming out of that car and drums are going in it. How many engines do I think I could build with your stash of Mopar parts? Not too many, just a couple. Can I tell you more about the Chrysler engine you saw? I don't know much about. Bro, all I saw was the fucking upswept exhaust manifold with the spark plugs underneath the manifold. So I can't tell you that's all I saw. I can't tell you any more than that. You'll have to go back to the yard and get me some pictures of it, and I'll closer up pictures, and I'll tell you what it is. Are drums lighter? Generally, yes. Duke Dog, I'm that kid again with the 74 New Yorker. I've been having a lot of trouble with my carb to the point my throttle cable is rubbing on my carburetor and raised my linkage up. Any concerns? Well, yeah, if the I don't know how you got that going on, bro. I without actually seeing what you've got there, there's no way for me to tell you. I don't know. Drums suck at high speeds. I never had any problems with them. Uh, Single plane, dual plane video, I'd be heavily into. As a young gearhead, nobody is talking about carbs. Well, I mean, we talk about carbs, and who's that other? I was on the phone with a guy who runs on the channel, a young guy. He's like 28. His name is Luke. I was talking to him. We were on the phone for a couple hours the other night. He runs a channel called. His name is Thunderhead 289, and he does a lot of carb stuff. What are my thoughts on Air Ride? No, I'm not gonna. I wouldn't bash you for liking that. My thoughts on it is it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. If you like to have your car sitting way down on the fucking ground, that's your thing, man. Then absolutely go for it. Did they do a 318 six pack? No. My Daily Mustang has got four-wheel drums. You kind of have to stand on the pedal to stop. you may have issues. You know what I mean? You may have issues. Don't always blame it on the brakes. I mean, uh, my daily driver 67 GT has 9-inch drums, no problem. Stops. Boom. My 64 Dart has 9-inch drums, stops dead straight, no problem. My 72 Slinger has 10-inch drums, stops like you threw a fucking anchor out the window. No great pedal effort. All of these cars have manual brakes. What else? Well, off the top of my head, I can't think, but most of my cars, including the 68 Roadrunner here, have drum brakes. How come a fuse panel doesn't have a main breaker? Because Chrysler used a fusible link. It's a wire that's intended to burn up. It's under the hood. I'm trying to catch up here. What does Kathy like? She likes to make sandwiches. She likes sandwiches. She eats a lot of sandwiches. Justin, thank you, sir. Got my grandfather's Offenhauser 3 Deuce on my 350 small block shoe. That's pretty cool. Want to get Vortec heads? Will the intake bolt to those heads? If not, can the heads be drilled and tapped to accept the old school intake? Yes, it should. It should. You shouldn't have any problem. Using Strombergs on that or 2 GCs? Also, radial tires made disc brakes come on market more. I don't really know the relationship there, but there are two things I never fuck with, right, on my own cars, right? I never fuck with steering. Whatever the factory put in there is what I'll work with, you know, good, bad, or otherwise. And brakes, whatever the factory put in there is good enough for me. The intake won't bolt to the Vortec heads, but he can drill and tap them, right? CMR, it's those conversion kit manufacturers and magazines, they sold advertisements who vilified drum brakes. Exactly. Same thing with point ignitions. Thank you, Matthew. Oh shit, no, bro, I got 256 likes. But we could always use more likes, you know? LSX, good luck, brother man. Have fun welding that thing back together again. How can I tell if the torsion bars are still good? 75 dust to 225. Are they holding the car off the ground? That's your general, you know. Look and see how straight they are. Generally, when a torsion bar becomes played out, it'll start to bend a little bit. They'll bow a little bit. So throw a straight edge on there. And if you see if the bars are still straight, they still have plenty of life in them. Have I ever seen a Denley or Mini Hemi? Yes, I have. Do I run a shop during the day? No, YouTube is all I do. At what engine size power level is a Holley 1850 600 CFM carb good to? That's a tiny carburetor, man. The rule of thumb is double the cubic inch, and that's where you start, right? So, but going by that measure, a 600 CFM carburetor is good for 300 cubic inches, but barely. Now, it's not to say that the 600 is a bad carburetor. I've got one on my 340. My 73 Roadrunner 340. I've got a 600 Eddy on it right now. I'm going to put a thermocore on it, but for right now, it's got a 600 Eddy, and it runs just fine. But that's what you want to do. You want to double your cubic inch to determine minimal carburation. Max Wedge car update. Not for a while now. 36318 intake manifold swap. Yeah, you can bolt it right on. If you could gasket match the intake or the cylinder heads, that helps a lot. PJ's Golden Mining, representing Alaska. Where did them sticking? Is Uncle Tony going against mainstream carb sizing wisdom? I don't know what the mainstream carb sizing wisdom is. I know what I've always gone by and what works. What's the best gas mileage you've gotten on a 60s car? My Swinger, 72 Swinger, 318, 2-barrel. It's completely stock except for dual exhaust. It's got a 2-inch tiny little fucking exhaust. But that thing regularly knocks out 20 miles to the gallon around town. And on a highway, I'm going to say 22, 25 in that range, depending on travel speed. W2 heads on a 273, no. Dakota, what's going on, brother? Let's see. Thunderfang. Anyhow, thanks, Uncle Tony. I'll look on Google. Yeah. Good luck, brother, man. How many CFM on a 6-pack? They're rated at 1,350 CFM because you've got a 350 center and two 500 outboards, but 2 barrels are flowed differently than 4 barrels. The 6-pack flows the same as like a 950 Holly, 950 to 975 CFM. Anthony, yeah, Antonio, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for getting me all those likes. Get me some more. Let's top 400. Tony, what's the quickest you've been on a quarter mile? 1580. 6-pack for the 402, 352 worth anything? I don't know if it's worth anything, but those are fun. Those are fun induction systems. Do I have to run lead in my cars? I run all my cars on unleaded. Outside of race cars, strip only cars. I build and tune everything I own to work on 10% ethanol unleaded gas. I don't want to deal with additives. I don't want to deal with hunting around for special fucking fuels. None of that shit. If it won't run on E90, pump gas, I don't want to deal with it. Race cars are an exception. So no 1050 Dominator or a Slant 6. Well, if you can turn it to, I guess, 18,000 RPM, then yeah, it would probably work really good. 75 Granada Ghia stock oh yeah, I love those cars. Let me tell you something. The Granada, I always loved the fucking Granada. I never understood why people didn't fucking build those things into hot rods. It looks like such a natural, Gearhead, thank you, sir. Thank you, Thunderfang. John, they're all being very nice. Thank you, Thunderfang. Yeah, the Monarch and the Granada. Yeah, the Granada, man. I love those fucking cars. Have I gone to any mechanic schools early on in your life? No, I learned everything myself. What carburetor do I suggest for a 350 Chevy off-road daily? If you're going off-road with it, it's hard to beat a Rochester. It's hard to beat a Quadrajet. No problem with 67 Galaxy. My knowledge is incredible. Amy, I don't know. I've just been around for a long ass time. Bought a Sure Grip for my 8 1/4, 220. Any chips for the swap, or is it just R&R? It's just setting the backlash, just setting the backlash. And honestly, I set them like eye and ear, right? I've never that's why people like, oh, you have to do a video on setting up rear ends. I can't do a video on setting up rear ends because I've been setting up rear ends since, like the way that I do them since I was a fucking teenager. I do everything by eye, ear, and feel. So swapping a carrier, to put your Sure Grip in there. The only thing that you got to pay attention to is the backlash. And so with the car and park, okay, the backlash basically essentially is how far you can move the ring gear before it stops against the pinion. Okay, so if everything is dry, you want just a tick 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 tick. You know what I'm saying? Just like tick tick tick, like that. So you set your adjusters, you turn your adjusters back and forth until you get it to just tick 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 tick, just slightly. It's like 6/1000 of an inch you want to get it to move. You just want to be able to hear it go tick 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 tick, and your backlash will be fine. Uncle Tony, any idea why the fuck the power wire on my GM HEI coils keep melting? I have no clue. Happened on 2 separate cars. Replaced the ignition module, capper motor, 14 volts, charging. Any clue? No. You may have been around a while. Your knowledge is astounding. The willingness to teach, show, and be true to. Well, I appreciate that, Pete. I really do. I've covered a lot of ground. I hit the ground running, and I've covered a lot of ground. So, but here's the thing, right? If I don't share it, if I don't share the things that I've learned, on a forum like this on YouTube, you know what I mean? I drop dead. Where does it go? It was like fucking pointless. You know what I mean? I learned all of this stuff. I paid all the fucking dues, right? And that's it. It dies with me. So we do this channel. Whatever gauge wire they use for the coil, I'm talking about the red wire going into the coil. I don't know what you're talking about. The one that gets plugged into the post marked back, right? Yeah, I have no idea why that would melt. Tony, why do most older jet boats run an old 455 over the Pontiac or Buick 455? I don't see. I'm not familiar with jet boats. I mean, it may have something to do with the fact that it's. Well, no. See, I don't know. That's a question. You might want to. You know what? I would go to Finnegan's garage and ask him because he would know. He's a boat guy. So I'm trying to catch up here. Do I know Finnegan? I do not know Finnegan. Previous owner broke the annular ring and the outboard Holly carb of a 6-pack. Can that be replaced? I don't know. I don't know. Send a message to Eric Jackson at vintagemusclecarparts.com, and he'll tell you exactly what you need to do with that carburetor. Why did all the muscle cars in the 60s and 70s have bias ply tires instead of radials? Because radials weren't a thing at the time. What's needed to make a 904 live behind a high horsepower engine? Honestly, a healthy rebuild and a good shift kit. They're incredibly strong transmissions. Zero, what's going on with? How about internal external balance on small block Mopar? Why and etc. Dude named Blaine keeps asking. Well, the only externally balanced, the 340, the cast crank 340 is externally balanced. The 360 is externally balanced. All of the 318s are internally balanced. All of the steel crank motors are internally balanced. It just has to do with the amount of weight that they can't add to the counterweight. They throw it on a balancer. Any experience with Ford top loaders? Aside from driving them and swapping them in and out, no internal experience. No. Let's see. Oh, Jay, you like that video? Cool. Yeah, that was actually one of my favorites too. That was Lamb Chop's first appearance too in that video. Any free horsepower tricks you haven't mentioned in your videos? Yeah, probably. I mean, God, there's just so many. When I come across stuff, you know what I mean? When I'm doing something, I'm working on something, and I come across it, it pops in my head, it ends up in a video. Off the top of my head, I can't even think of that. Tony, would my Dominator carb big block benefit from a single plane manifold if I only rev to 6,000 RPM? You've got a Dominator on a fucking dual plane? Like that's a first, bro. Yeah, get a single plane under that. What bike did I get? So 1974 Honda CL360. If you change the rods and pistons on a stock bottom end with a steel crank, does the assembly have to be rebalanced? It depends on the weight. If you're putting a heavier rod in, absolutely. Heavier piston, absolutely. Lighter, definitely. Okay, you could swap pistons. You can go to a lighter piston and not have to worry about rebalancing. As far as rods go, it's really hard to say. Every engine is going to be a little bit different. That's something you want to talk to a machinist about. They make an adapter to put a Dominator on a dual plane. Yeah, I mean, like there's lots of things that shouldn't be that are. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the fucking modern world. But I could not imagine running a Dominator on a fucking dual plane. Thunderfang, thank you. You taught me a lot about Chevys, even though you're Mopar. Well, I mean, I like I said, the stuff that we do on this channel, it's Mopar based, but I try to keep it as generic as possible so that it doesn't, like the same principles can be applied to any other engine, whether it's an import or a Ford or an AMC or a Buick, it doesn't make any difference. I try to keep everything in that range so that you can apply it across the board. Master cylinder 69 Charger is always leaking from the top. I replaced it twice. Any ideas? Uh, I would say if you've got disc brakes in that car, check and see that one isn't dragging. Because a lot of times what will happen is you'll get a caliper that's a little sticky, and it'll raise the temperature in that caliper, and it'll cause the fluid to head back up the master cylinder, pressurize it, and actually push it through the gasket. Uh, that's the only thing I can think of that would cause it to leak from the top of the master. Tony, is Kathy okay? Yes. Kathy's just like mellowing out. She's just like, I can't tonight. I can't tonight. So I don't. Just go sit inside. I got it. Do I remember Catcher Manny's garage? How can I think of Catcher Manny? Those guys were fucking too much. The 69 Charger does have front discs. Thanks for the help. Yep, that's probably what it is. Yeah, Granny's garage. Throw a single plane under that fucking someone a nice big plenum. Throw that under that Dominator, and you think you're happy with it now. Wait till you feel what that thing feels like 3,000 fucking RPM. What would be a great car for my 273 Commando? Throw a 600 on there. Throw a 600 Eddie on there. You'd be very happy with it. Pete Wertinger. She does a lot doing all the video takes. Tell Uncle Kathy thank you for the hard work keeping Uncle Tony on here. Yeah. Kathy, your fan club's at it again. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear her. She says, "What's up, guys?" Torsion bar adjustment head screw was snapped off when I bought my 74 Roadrunner. Need to redo the suspension. Any advice? I'm assuming I'll need to find a way to get it off. Oh, yeah. And those are fragile, those. Geez, I don't know. I'm thinking like you may just have to drill it out, man. You may just have to drill it out. What are my thoughts on a 400, 413, and 440? Could you give me an even more vaguer fucking thing to give you the thoughts about? I think that they all have a distributor in the front. Dickie Farley says to tell you that your number one fan says hi. Do you have a thing going with Dickie Farley? Okay. Thunderfang. I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you think so. Thank you. People just wanted me to talk about something. Like what? Can you do a video on how to replace rear axle bearings? I could, but I won't because it's too specific. I don't want to do any specific tech videos. On my gas mileage car, what rear gear ratio and what trans? On that Slinger, it's a 904 and it's a 273 gear. Is it 273 gear or 274 gear? I don't know. It's a seven. It's a sure grip. It's a 7 1/4 with a sure grip. My thoughts on a Performer RPM versus the LD 340. Off the top of my head, I can't make that comparison off the top of my head. Backward shenanigans. Let's do a video of me and you racing. I don't know. Where are you? Could you say how to tell if a rear axle has a C-clip and a diff or not? Yeah, the only way to tell is just pop the wheel off, pop the drum off, and look and see if you see any bolts. If you don't see any bolts holding the axle flange into the housing, then it's a C-clip. Didn't you say you'd make a video on comparing small block Chevys, Mopars, and Fords? Yeah, I have to get together with a machine shop that has all of that stuff in-house, and I want to do a comparison between rods and pistons and stuff like that. I haven't had a chance to get out and about to do that right now. Backwards, you're in Kentucky? All right, well, I mean, you know, we could probably race something at some point. Take a hammer and hit my finger. My third cousin Eddie had the '66 Plymouth Roadrunner 440 Hemi. What happened to your? What happened to your the first two? All right. I sound like you, Antonio, setting up a differential. Yay! Everything's by eye and by ear. Does the double a cubic inch carb CFM apply to smog area? It applies to everything. Can 340s have single valve springs? Would it work? Well, yeah. Can you flip the pistons in an inline? Yes, providing that it's a flat top piston with no valve release to get in the way. Yeah. Any thoughts of telling my family I got my sister pregnant? I don't know, man. Get them drunk first. Who would I rather have a smoke with? Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, or Steve McQueen by a fucking long shot. That guy was fucking. He was real, man. Steve McQueen was the real fucking deal. Single spring 340, no RPM. Well, I mean, don't say that. I mean, it depends on the cam profile. There's a lot of different factors, but I mean, you should be able to see $6,000 out of that. Did you ever get more chocolate cake? Yeah, Uncle Kathy made a chocolate cake yesterday. Ooh, Kat, you got any of that chocolate cake? Yeah. I've ever played with much foreign Mopar stuff like a Hemi 6. We had no Hemi 6s. We have no Hemi 6s imported to this country, so I have no experience with them. Backwoods, you're in Kentucky, just comment under one of my videos and we'll say, okay. Whatever happens to the bottle rocket? She's just sitting in the shop right now. You mentioned a preference for iron over aluminum heads. Why? Iron heads will generally make more power. All else being equal. All else being equal. So in other words, like if the ports are the same, if the valves are the same, the only difference is the metal. The iron head will make a little more power than an aluminum head. And I can't tell you exactly why. Ask Bill Jenkins, because that's where I picked that one up from. Go, Antonio. Talk to you later. Ethan, how's his lamb chop doing? Lamb chop has been doing better. He's not doing as well right now. So you might want to like head over to his channel, drop him a fucking like or a message or something, you know. Keep the lamb chop spirits up. Most have to do with material density, iron versus aluminum. Well, yeah, the material density, but it really the heat, you know. Any updates regarding the chickens? I had Maggie out there today, like messing with the chickens a little bit, getting her used to them, so she won't like attack and kill them instantly. So that's about the only thing. And my Australorps are getting larger. Uh, you know. Amy Norad, is Kathy bringing the chocolate cake or not? Look, here's Uncle Kathy. And chocolate cake. Look, Uncle Kathy made that. Where you going, baby? Oh. Has my life been affected by the coronavirus much? I was sick for 2 months, and pretty sure that's what we had. Oh, chocolate cake. Oh. Mm. Thank you, baby. Pete Wertinger says, hi, Uncle Kathy. You got a thing going with Pete, don't you?
What's up, Pete? Chocolate cake is almost gone, Tony.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's good. Mm. See, I can't chew and read at the same time. Brandon Peters says, your wife is an awesome gal. We say hello.
What's up, Brandon?
Do you have a thing going with Brandon?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Now I need a Tang. Big old Ford F-150 says, now I need a Tang. I didn't say it, he did.
Oh, all right.
All right, let's go cake. I'm getting fat. Uncle Kathy is a very pretty young lady. Wish she had more screen time. Come here and give this guy your pretty face.
Are you crazy?
Yes, I'm crazy. Obviously. John Wilburn says hi.
What's up, John?
They like you better than me. You know that?
That's not true.
No, it is true.
Everybody loves you.
They want to see the beautiful blonde.
Oh, no.
Oh,
yeah.
They want to see all your milfy goodness.
Stop it. Don't say that. I'm going to go lay down. Bye, guys.
What did Bottle Rocket run on the quarter mile? It sucked all the timing equipment out of the ground. Craziest thing you ever saw. Couldn't get any times. Oh, there goes Maggie. You guys got to see Maggie doing her thing here. She wants the cake in the worst way. Sad. What's sad, Robert? You sad, Robert? Why are you sad, Robert? The rare cake hounds. They eat please, beagles. Like, you can't, they eat every fucking thing. Your t-shirt is sad, Robert? Is there a problem with your shirt? If there is, throw Uncle Kathy a message. She'll take care of that. We'll make it a little piece. Right. You want? Oh, for you. Oh, for you. Good night, Michael Fulbrook. Richard, take it out a little bit. No, I know chocolate is no good for dogs in large amounts. If you've lived with beagles, you know, because we had this one Spike. He got into everything. I can't tell you how much chocolate he once drank a whole fucking thing of NyQuil, right? A little bit of chocolate doesn't hurt them. I would never give them a whole chocolate cake, but you give it a taste. That's fine. You didn't answer me. You remember me from Myers-Getty. Myers-Getty. Oh, Vinnie Myers-Getty. What was your name again? Michael Fulbrook. Yes, Michael Fulbrook. You used to drive a tow truck, yeah? Is that right? Does dog hunt? No. Whatever became of a dirt track car? One of the guys who was supposed to be involved in that, his old lady got knocked up. They put everything on hold. Can you run nitro naturally aspirated with a Hilborn stack injection? Yes. You know, believe it or not, on a nitro motor, one of the most important aspects of the blower isn't to pressurize the motor like it does with other engines, but actually to whip the nitro, because you're spraying in a huge amount of liquid, is to whip the nitro into a bit of a mist. So that makes it easier to light, as well as heating it somewhat before it gets to that. On a nitro motor, the seal of the blower is super critical, because that causes the fuel to not only lighten up, right? Because nitromethane doesn't atomize. So by whipping it through that blower, you're heating the nitro, which lightens it up, and you're breaking up the droplets, which makes it easier to light. I gotta put this up here. Okay. Time for Tang. The dog is spazzing out. That's my sweetheart. She's always any food, man. She's nuts. What's the best gear ratio for the street power wise? That's such a broad question. There's no way for me to answer that. Too many factors to answer quickly like that. Tony would be interested in a 68 340 crank. There's like 3 of them under there. You love the way I'm not afraid of 4 doors? I prefer 4 doors. Have you ever turned the main journals on a 360 crank to make a straw grow? I have not, but I know plenty of people who have. And it works out really well. You do it on a 340 block, you end up like a 367, I think it is. Nasty dog slobber fork? What does that mean? You should make a deal with the guy with the wedge and do a build on YouTube. If he calls me, he has my number, he knows who I am. If he calls me, I would love to get involved in that. You ever built a Mopar flathead? No, I have not. Dogs lick their asses and their mouths are clean in hours. Dogs' metabolism is super fucking clean because they're scavengers, you know. So they eat rotted stuff. They smell. They like, to them, like the smell of rotting meat. You know what I mean? Like, to us, it make us gag, and to them, it's like that's candy. You know, the enzymes in their saliva and everything, their digestive tract are super fucking strong. Yeah, their mouths are much cleaner than ours. What clutch am I running in Bottle Rocket? It's a 10.5 inch Hemi clutch, 3-finger. You know, that dog licks on his balls. All my dogs are girls. They don't have balls. When did I become a scientist? Tony, Nick said you're talking about a slant 6. What do you guys have? We have nothing planned on it. He wants to build a slant 6, so I'm going to bring him one up that he can build for his channel. What's going on, Bradley? Representing Arkansas. If I had to get a car other than a Mopar, what would it be? A motorcycle. Why do slant 6s seem to be able to make more power than a Jeep 4.0? Not in this dimension. They know the 4.0 is a very good motor. It makes more power than a slant. Do I deny science? Yes, of course I deny science. I get all of my information from a Ouija board. How do I feel about flex fans? They're not as good as clutch fans. When do we see you work on bikes, on my bikes? When I get around to them. Bottle rocket or Charger, which feels faster? Bottle rocket. Dakota, you're obsessed with dogs licking things. Is this like a fetish that you've got? Do I know anybody who believes the Earth is flat? Offhand, no. But I'll check my Ouija board. Rebecca, what's the worst wreck I've been in? So a motorcycle crash. I've done some damage. Jake Borg believes the Earth is flat. What power is in a UFO? I think that there's a what the hell is an element? Fuck, it'll come to me. You believe we live in a realm? I would believe that also. You bought all the Tang at a Walmart near Nashville. Nice, nice. You couldn't have left some Tang for the other people, though, huh? That's cool. I wouldn't have either. Yeah, just grab the Tang. Element 115. That's it. Element 115. Good night, Lunar. Am I still famous? You know, I haven't talked to anybody famous on the phone in like a couple of days now. So I'm thinking my fame might be slipping a little bit. What's the advantage of building a stroker engine? Oh, there's so many different aspects to that. I can't, right now I can't. My 225-6 has an oil leak on the passenger side of the head. Can the head be retorque stop? Is it a drool tube head? Because it might just be the drool tubes, you know, the spark plug tubes, the O-rings around those might be leaking. Very funny in so many ways. Funny haha or funny peculiar, because there is a difference. Drool tube O-rings already replaced. Then yeah, you're gonna have to crack the head off. I'm trying to. What's going on, UT? Mitchell Lee, yeah. What's the highest horsepower motor I've ever built? Several thousand top fuel motor. Let's talk about FEMA camps. Well, go ahead, talk about them. Talk amongst yourselves. What makes me love Mopars? I don't know what it's like to not love Mopars, I guess. Ever go to the Goo store in Nashville? I can't say I have. Know any Pontiac men? Yeah, my friend Alpha pops on here every once in a while. He's a Pontiac guy. He still lives up there on Staten Island. He came down to visit about a year ago. He's a Pontiac guy. I used to know Nunzio Romano years ago. Brian, slant six, low compression. Could a dog turd be wedged in the bore? It's possible. When I pulled the head on the cylinder 4, it smelled like shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. My 225 keeps cracking and burning stock exhaust manifolds. Do you have a favorite header brand for a stock 225 header replacing cast iron manifolds? You got a reason that it's cracking them like that, man. They won't crack. Are you using the right hardware on there? You got to use those fucking those conical shaped washers. You know, you got some of them in the triangle shape that holds the intake and the exhaust, and the other ones are those conical washers. You got to use those. If you lock down a slant six exhaust manifold, like at the end bolts, and the one in the center, if you don't use the conical washers on those, it'll crack the manifold because the manifold, as it expands and contracts, those conical washers allow it to give a little bit. And if you lock it down, they crack. Has there ever been a time where you could have used a fire extinguisher in your car while driving? Yeah, a couple of times. Belleville washers. Is that what they're called? I thought a Belleville was flat. A Belleville is like a flat spring type of washer. These are like cones. What do I think can be done with the homeless drug addicts that refuse to get clean? Perhaps lockdown, the government could make them go away. I wouldn't miss them. I'm going to leave my opinion on that out. Roll up your windows, Uncle Buzz. Yeah, I know exactly what a Belleville washer is, but these aren't Belleville washers. They're conical. Hang on. Here's one. Can you see that? All right. That's not a Belleville washer. That's the kind of washer that you use on a slant six, where it's not actually holding the intake. Also, these go at the ends, one at one end, one at the other end, and one in the center. So that's the kind of washer you need to use. Okay, if you're using those and it's still cracking, then you've got a heat issue. You're probably too lean, or your timing is too far retarded, or a combination of both. What's my advice on stupid people? Uh, just smile and nod. Yes, those are also on the 318s on the studs. Yes. Street Swift 71 Charger RT, 440 dual or single plane intake. I always prefer single planes, but that's me. In 1972, did you ever go drinking with Ron DeFeo? I was 10 in 1972. My favorite G body, uh, Pontiac Grand Prix 2+2. Have I seen the Hemi Cuda collection of Tom Lambeck? I have not. Will you use a Hellcat motor? No. When are you taking one of the Roadrunners out? The white 73 is next. I got to straighten out the brakes on it and do a couple of small things. We'll probably take that out in a week or two. Yeah, I'm fucking old, bro. Any more videos of your landlord dispute negotiating? You know, if there was a lot of video of that, but you know, we decided to not, you know, not run that. How's the windshield? It's cracked. What's the next phase for Bottle Rocket? I think maybe we'll take it out and maybe try to do a little hunting with it. See if we can't run a couple of street races with the car. Do some more car scam videos. When one pops up, we'll do it. Will I shave my beard off for 200K? Sure. I'll do it for 20. I'll do it for you send over 20 grand, I'll shave any fucking thing you want. Do I piss and it depends? No, I just let it run down my leg. Tony, do I have a deal? Yeah, but it's like expired by a couple of years. The only Jesus has zero. The metal shop teacher cut kids' hair in 1978. Over the bus? Yes. I'm very well. I hope you're well also, my friend. Who started the rumors about Scotty Kilmer and Catch a Predator? Scotty Kilmer? No, he's a predator. To Catch a Kilmer. That does sound like one of his clickbait titles, doesn't it? To Catch a Kilmer. Will I ever own a classic JDM car? I will not own one, but I would love to work on one. I think one of my favorite shows on the Motor Trend is JDM Classics. Gideon, how you doing, Gideon? My potty mouth makes me so cool. Well, fuck, that's really nice of you to say that, Super Sleuth. What's the highest lift cam you can safely run on stock 360J heads? You've got the valve guides, all different heights. You've really, on average, you can run like a 540, 550 lift before you get into before the retainer hits the guides, but check. Now you can trim down the guides, and if you trim down the guides, then coil bind is your only issue. And if you trim down the guides and use stock 340 springs, coil bind happens at around 600 lift, 625 lift. Boss 429 is a knockoff Hemi? No, not at all. Boss 429 is a completely different concept. I've got a 74 Dodge Colt putting a turbo Eclipse motor in it. What motor would you put in it? Yeah, I mean, the Mitsubishi motor is nice. That's a good motor. That's probably a good fucking. That's probably gonna be a good swap. Actually, I know that's going to be a good swap. Those cars are cool. They, you know, those were very underrated compacts. Compacts. Did I say subcompacts? That's what they called them back in the day. Have I seen Engine Masters episode 58 Motorhome 440 on Dyno Advanced Cam? I have not, but I didn't know they did that, but I will go look at that for sure. Uh, 915 heads or 906 heads. You prefer open or closed chamber heads? It all depends. Like for instance, I on that Charger, I decided I wanted that car to be able to run an 87 octane. I wanted to be able to just put gas in it anywhere, anytime. So I went with the open chamber 906s. If I'm building a motor for, you know, if I'm looking at, you know, a little more fucking performance out of it, especially if I'm looking to build a quench motor. If I'm building like a zero deck motor, then absolutely the closed chamber heads. But it depends on what the application is. Did I know that Eagle Talon and Mitsubishi Eclipse are one and the same thing? Oh, yeah, okay. What about the 450? The 452s are just 906s with hardened seats. Oh, okay. My Slide 6 has an issue with the vacuum advance hooked up. It misses at high RPM. I can bring the timing back to fix it, but then it bogs. Do I need a recurve? It sounds to me like you got a lean condition on the carburetor. Hubby wants to know why your glasses are always crooked. Is that better? My ears, I think, are in different. I think my ears are on a different plane from each other. Read the super chat. What super chat? I missed a super chat? I didn't miss any super chats. Is that better, Cat? Awesome. Oh, hang on now. Let me see what super chat I missed. I got to go way back. Yeah, excuse me, guys. All right. Oh, there it is. Weakfeck. Weefeck. I'm so sorry, brother, man. I don't know how I missed that. You should have the roll up your windows 5-second clip at the beginning of every goddamn video. We thought about that. It's like a little too obscure. You know what I'm saying? It's a little obscure. It's like an inside joke. How important is cam degreeing? It's very important if you're looking to maximize your package. For 30 bucks, would I eat some guy's sideburns? No. No. How important are pistons? Most engines use them. So I would think that they're pretty important. Thank you, Ramon. You heard about what I did to that Valiant back in the 70s? That was supposed to be a secret. Tell Uncle Kathy hi from another Kathy. All right, Kat? Yeah. Kathy Rader says to say hi from another Kathy. What's up, Kathy? She says, what's up, Kathy? First time I lost control of a car street racing, I don't know, probably when I was like 16 or so. Thoughts, views on the Conquest. Not a fan. I'm not a fan. Am I doing the Cletus Freedom 500? Probably not. I should have called my last video Cat in the Back. What was my high school car? Generally, anything that was laying around in the auto shop parking lot. I had keys to like all of the teachers' cars. They used to make keys for their cars. Trying to send $20. Oh, Ramon, I don't know. I don't know. I appreciate the thought. I honestly don't know how it works. Have I ever worked with David Freiberg or Steve Dolchik? No, I have not. I've never worked with either of them. No. UTG, where is a decent place to live in? I live in Middle Tennessee, and it's more than decent. It's amazing. This whole place, everything about it is just awesome. Mediocre reviews. Man, I'm 16, can't wait to get my license. I'm looking for a good project right now. Me and my uncle are building a 408 Stroker Dakota. That's a great project, brother man. That's a great project. Dakotas are fantastic foundations to build off of. You know what I mean? Could somebody tell Ramon Castillas how to send 20 bucks? Because I honestly don't know how to do it. Suzuki GT 750 Water Buffalo, yes or no? That was the most disappointment bike I ever fucking. I had one, right? Because I had a bunch of Kawasaki triples, right? And it was like an opportunity to come up to get a Water Buffalo, right? So I says, that's got to be a blast, right? No, man. The Water Buffalo was a fucking stone. Now I will say it was the smoothest, quietest motorcycle I ever fucking rode. Like this thing it was like riding an electric fucking bike because it was water cooled. You know what I mean? So all of the harmonics of that two-stroke motor got sucked up, and it had a really quiet exhaust. So it was like riding down the road like nothing, just a fucking hum. So I'll give it that, right? But it was a gutless fucking pig. Like it had nothing. Too hot in Tennessee. It gets hot here. Do I have any 75, 80 Camaros laying around? No, I don't have any of those. Good night, Rally Chow. What happens if you lose a soda wall on a triple? I don't know what happens. Ever ride a Banshee 350 twin pipes and jetted? I've ridden a bunch of Banshees. Yes. What's the smallest engine I ever built? I fucked around with a couple of Briggs and Strattons. .727 torque light. What is your opinion on building one? They're great, and there's a lot of information out there. Just do your research. Do the research on it. Lots of information. Ever do RC cars? No. Pontiac Banshee thoughts. I don't have any. I don't. I'm not familiar with them. Have I ever watched Triumph the Insult Comedy Dog? Yeah, like maybe like 20, 25 years ago. 67 Plymouth Barracuda. What did you think of it? They're beautiful cars. They're awesome. Good to see you too, KJ Moore. My 455 will have around 9-to-1 compression. What octane gas should I run? Open chamber cast iron heads. I mean, just a mid-range unleaded. You should be fine. Does Tennessee make you destroy cars 2 plates? No, we only need a rear plate. Harold representing Israel. What's going on, brother man? Chaim. Have you ever built a car you were just plain disappointed in? Plenty of them. How are the ladies in Tennessee? We have the most beautiful women in the world here. Martin or Rowan and Martin. Sox and Martin. What do I think of the Plymouth Fury? Yeah. It's 5:26 a.m. Let me see. It's 9:26 p.m. here. Yeah, Tennessee has great looking women. They're beautiful, beautiful. Your daughter lives in McEwen, Tennessee. McEwen, west by Memphis, right? We're in Nashville, or we're just south of Nashville in Murfreesboro. Pontiac or Chevy? I'd have to flip a coin. They're all at the Waffle House, not the beautiful ones. She's west of Nashville. Yeah, McEwen. Oh, McEwen is like kind of like near Jackson, right? Is that right? What do I think of the Plymouth Fury, aka Christian? I mean, I'm not crazy about them. I'm not crazy about them. I think the fins on those cars, no, they didn't work for me. Not that I have anything as fins, you know what I mean? I like fins, but the fins on those Furies, there's just something awkward about them, the way they pop up like that. Thunderfang, yeah, I just answered that. I'm not crazy about those. Why is it such a pain to keep the rear main seal on my 360 Dodge? Drops oil, gas everywhere. You may have an issue with the crankshaft. It's possible the crankshaft was cut a little undersized on that that area. On the simplest sense, you got a first-gen Dakota to hook. I'm not familiar enough with the suspensions on those cars on those trucks to really give you a straight answer on that. That's something you want to ask on a Dakota-specific forum. Thank you for posting that link. Fubar, there's like, you guys want to buy hats, T-shirts, stickers, there's the link. Fubar just posted. Fubar just posted that for me. Ah, Ramon, you bought a hoodie. Awesome. Thank you. She's about 15 minutes north of Loretta Lynch's ranch. It's so beautiful out there, isn't it? Magnum 500 Thoughts. I have them on my 73 Roadrunner. I love those wheels. Yeah, the 57 Chrysler fins are nice. I like those. I've got a 1980 Power Wagon on a 318 4-speed manual. Should I get the stock 318 heads milled and ported or use other heads? What heads would I recommend? If you can find a set of those 302 castings, the 1985, 6, 7, I think 8, 302 318 heads, those are good. It's a closed chamber, high swirl head. And if you do some minor porting, just gasket match the intakes and clean up the bowls, those heads are really good for a 318. Good torque heads, which is what you want with that Power Wagon. What do you recommend if you live in an urban area and you don't have anywhere to work on your car? You got to be creative, man. You got to be creative. You know, lots of guys do it. I know it's not easy. You know, I've many times in my life I was in places it was very difficult to work on a car, but you got to be creative. I can't tell you how to do that. That's all in your own head. All right, guys. It's getting a little late here. I need a shower in the worst way. So I'm gonna